Hey, welcome back. So once again, we're looking at our shaft between A and D with a variety of externally applied torques to it. We've done our free body diagram in previous videos. We did the torque force diagram, so I will put up some cards here in case you missed those and you want to jump back. We went on to do the internal stresses resulting from these torques applied. Again, I'll throw another card up here in case you missed that and you want to go back and to do that really important section, obviously. But right now, what this video is all about is looking at the angle of twist or the distortion resulting from these torques being applied to this shaft. Of course, what's going to happen is this shaft is going to twist as a result of the torques. Now, it's going to twist in one direction or the other, depending on the direction of the torques, and that will vary as we go along the length of the shaft, and that's why that torque force diagram is so important. So in the last video, we calculated the polar moments of inertia for the solid and the hollow shaft. And so I'm just copy them over here from that problem. I'm not going to recalculate them. If you want to jump back, I'll put a card up here in the corner so you can go back and look at that video where we did the internal stresses, where I also calculated the polar moments of inertia for these two sections. So what we need to do is look at the angle of twist. Now this, again, analogous to how we were calculating our elongations and shortening in the axial load with the displacement is equal to PL over EA, and then you can do the sum over constant sections. We're going to do exactly the same thing here, is we're going to calculate the angle of twist over constant sections and then sum them up. So calculate the angle of twist and I'm just going to write out my formula. So we use phi for angle of twist, and that's going to be the sum of our T at I, L at I over J at I, G at I. So that's our torque in a given section, the length over which it's applied, divided by our polar moment of inertia of that particular section, and our shear modulus G. And so this looks very, very similar to that PL over EA that we were using in axial force problems. So we're going to break this down. We're going to look at AB, BC, CD, and we're just going to calculate them. So we have our angle of twist between A and B is equal to our torque between A and B, our length of AB, and in this case, J and G are constant over the length, so I'm going to leave the subscripts off and go ahead and substitute these in. So in this case, the signs do matter because they're showing an angle of twist in one direction or the other, either clockwise or counterclockwise. And so I'm going to put in the signs, and you're going to have to kind of track and look at the diagram to figure out if they're adding or making it twist clockwise or making it twist counterclockwise. And so we start off with our 80 Newton meters, and our length over which it's applied is 400 millimeters. We don't have our lengths in here. Okay, I'm just going to take 10 seconds out. I'm going to draw in my lengths, and we'll be right back. There we go, the beauty of video editing. I've put my lengths of sections A, B, B, C, C, D up on our original diagram, so we have those to work with. And I'm going to jump right back in here, and length AB we see is 400 millimeters or 0.400 meters. And this is going to be in the initial instance for the solid shaft, so I use our polar moment of inertia for the solid shaft, 6.14 times 10 to the minus 7 meters to the fourth. And our shear modulus, which was given in the question, is 80 gigapascals. So we know that that is 80 times 10 to the 9th pascals. And so that's going to give us an answer in radians of 6.52 times 10 to the minus 4th and radians. So we're going to repeat that for sections BC and CD. And so we have phi BC, again, torque BC, length BC, all over JG. And in this case, we have a positive 70 Newton meters over a 500 millimeter length, or 0.500 meters, and the same JG, so I'll just copy them in. And that gives us a value, oh, sorry, I missed my negative sign up in the top one. So that gives us a value of 7.13 times 10 to the minus fourth radians. And one last time, between CD, torque CD, length CD over which it's applied, J and G. And again, we have a positive 10 Newton meters, a 0.300 meter length. JG do not change. And a value of 6.11 times 10 to the minus 5 radians. And so if we wanted to know what the total angle of twist was over from A to D, so we got phi A to D, it is simply the sum of all of these. So phi AB plus phi BC plus phi CD, and we'll put in our values. So this is where that sign becomes really important. Negative 6.52 times 10 to the minus 4 radians plus 7.13 times 10 to the minus 4 radians plus 6.11 times 10 to the minus 5 radians. And that would be equal to 1.22 times 10 to the minus 4 radians. Now, if I was interested in expressing that in degrees, so that would be equal to 1.22 times 10 to the minus 4 radians multiplied by 360 degrees per 2 pi radians, and give us a value of 7 times 10 to the minus 3 degrees. So we did that very deliberately without combining any of that into one equation, because part C of the problem says to plot the angle of twist phi over the length of the solid shaft. So I'm going to extend my lines down here so I can put in a plot of phi over the length of the shaft. Okay, so I've just drawn in the framework that we can do this on. So in this case, we're going to be plotting the angle of twist, and we're going to do it in radians. And so it starts at 0 because we know at A it's fixed, so there can be no angle of twist or no deformation at A. And then it's going to go up. Now, in a positive and negative, I'm going to match the sign that we applied to our torque. So if we had a negative torque, it's going to take us with negative deformation. So the first one, we know that the amount of deformation over AB takes us to a negative 6.52 times 10 to the minus fourth, and it will be linear over that length. So it will reach that by the time we get to B, at which point in time when we have a positive torque, so it's going to reverse, it's going to go in the other direction, and it's going to increase by 7.13 times 10 to the minus fourth radian. So if we add one to the other, that tells us that we're going to take us to a value of 0.61 times 10 to the minus 4 by the time we get to C. And so we're going to get up there, and then we're going to continue on in the same direction, another 6.11 times 10 to the minus 5, which will ultimately get us to a value of 1.22 times 10 to the minus 4 radians. So off like that. And so with that, we were able to plot the angle of twist going on in the shaft by these three externally applied torques. Now, part of the question asked us, what about the hollow shaft? So because J is applied linearly with no exponents or anything else, we can just do a ratio of the polar moments of inertia in order to figure out what that was. So let me just label what I'm doing here. So for the hollow section, our phi between A and D hollow, I'll give it an additional thing here, will be equal to our angle of twist between A and D solid, which we know, multiplied by the ratio of their polar moments of inertia, like this. And that's basically, if you look at the math, it's canceling one out and substituting the other in for it. And so when we do that, we have 7 times 10 to the minus 3 degrees. And we're multiplying that by that ratio, so 6.14 times 10 to the minus 7 meters to the fourth, divided by 1.021 times 10 to the minus 6 meters to the fourth, and we get a total displacement of 4.2 times 10 to the minus 3 degrees. And so what we're seeing is that efficiency that we saw in the last video about how the stresses are reduced for less material, we're also getting less twist as a result of lower stresses. And so the hollow section really starting to show itself off as the preferred construction as far as efficiencies go. So that's it for this video. We've looked fairly cleanly at the angle of twist resulting from externally applied torques, and in conjunction with the last video on stresses, we should have a fairly good handle on what's going on as a result of torsion on our shaft.